been a troublemaker, I've been a late night player, I've been broke as a joke, I've been a money maker, I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator, I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing, popping, locking, stopping, let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stains. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk, we gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we go and act a fool. Enough jumps, the middle finger make my...
To Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut. On this October 8th day, Thursday evening, 6:30 to 7, we are here. And as I mentioned, live, which means the phone lines are open. 203-792-4101 is the number. You know the 30 minutes goes by quick. So if you want to get on the horn, it is the fastest 30 minutes in TV talk show sports history.
Yeah, you know what this week is?
No, I do not.
It's Fair Week.
Fair Week. I thought that was last
Fair
week.
Week. It would have been the 146th anniversary of the Danbury Fair. But unfortunately, it's not here anymore. But
and there he is, Mr. Bob Ross Jr.
Yeah.
You can see him in the photos.
Yes.
As he jumps on my open once again.
All in green, right? That was at Fire Safety Day, which was a very good attended day. And then we have open house this weekend for our Mill Plain.
Well, let's go back to that picture. Bob, all right, so this was Fire Safety Day.
Yes.
Our man, my right-hand man, Mr. Bob Ross Jr. So I'm going to ask the question, is the fire safety tip of the day, make sure that you have a fire on a day that it's raining?
Oh, yeah, we had it. Yeah,
according to that picture,
helps.
That seems to be what you're looking for there.
Yeah, we had a very good live burn, so it really went over well.
All right. So that's our guy, Bob Ross Jr., helping people out, making sure safety first for everyone. His show, Spotlight On, Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 12. Mike Toohey in the control room running things. Expose Cinema, his show, Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1.
And we have
well, let's get the production assistant extraordinaire taken care of first.
Okay.
Mr. Connor Faco in there. I hear the music playing tonight, so maybe they got that straight.
Yeah.
Hopefully the microphones are all working, but he's running the audio.
Yeah.
He finished his homework. He was in there dutifully working on his homework before the show.
Oh, that's
and now he's ready to help out with the show.
My daughter Jenna's doing very well too, and her training for the Nutcracker.
We got to keep track of that.
We've been busy on the weekends with
Two
that.
parts. The Star is Born.
Yeah, she's a Minnie Mouse and an angel.
Nice. And we have the return of Mr. Mike
from Florida,
McFadden Maniac.
That's right.
A little vacation time, a little dealing with the cable realignment, a little overtime work. Been tough to get him in the studio lately, but the Mets are in the playoffs. Preview will be coming shortly as they get ready to go tomorrow night in LA, so we had to make sure he was back. We'll see what he says about all of that. No strange man, although I did talk to him on the phone Sunday. He was on top of the whole sports scene, but he said he was going to try to come down. He has not made it. Maybe he'll call in, 203-792-4101, and give us an actual strange man stat of the week. Maybe Uncle Buck will call. Maybe former evil director Kevin Gallagher will call and tell us
about his Kansas
City Chiefs, who are 1-3,
yeah.
And he told me they were winning his division out there in the West, and I haven't heard from him since week 1 when they won that day. 3 straight losses, no text messages from Kevin Gallagher. All right, let's get right into it. Baseball postseason got underway this week. Let's see, was it Tuesday? I mean, really. It didn't even really feel like, did the Yankees make the playoffs? Were they in the playoffs? Was that a playoff game?
They captured, what was it, exactly the East?
Yeah. The wild card.
East.
They backed in completely, losing 6 out of their last 7 games, 7 out of their last 10. If it wasn't for the fact that the Astros lost on Sunday, that wild card game would have been held down in Houston. Instead, the Astros still had to come up here to New York. And that didn't really matter to the Astros at all because the Yankees sure didn't show up as they get shut out 3-0. Go quietly, meekly into the night.
Yeah. All that money for what?
For what? $153 million are playing Jacoby Ellsbury. Where was he in this game? He was on the bench. benched before a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Before the game, not even injured, just a guy who can't play. All right, you want to hear some numbers, guys? Let's go through some numbers. You want to hear some post-All-Star break numbers from that vaunted Bronx Bummer lineup? Ellsbury was batting in his last 30 games, 206. Since the All-Star break, 220.
Ugh.
Gardner batting 206 since the All-Star break, 212 in his last 30. Gregarious, 229. Chase Headley, 178. McCann, remember when they signed McCann and said he was going to be the new face of the Yankees when Jeter left? How about batting 200 in the second half, 167 in his last 30 games?
Terrible.
A-Rod, K-Rod, Stray Rod, Hay-Rod, E-Rod, Pay-Rod, A-Fraud, A-Royd. How about 216 since the All-Star break?
What did he do in the series? What did he do in the game? He went, 1 for 3?
Did he even get a hit? I know when he came up with runners on base in the crucial spot. First pitch swinging, lazy fly ball to center field, ends the inning, ends the threat. And the Yankees.
What about Mr. I can't get it off my shoulder, Beltran.
Wait a second. I wonder if they needed CC to pitch. What would have happened? Wait a second. Was it CC or is it AA?
AA.
Is his new nickname.
AA.
Unbelievable. CC announces on the eve of the playoffs that he is checking himself into alcohol rehabilitation, leaving the team. This 2 days after he went to social media and blasted all the local media guys for saying he couldn't perform in a big spot anymore. And he said, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. 2 days later, he's removing himself from the postseason entirely, saying, I'm out. I need to go get a little help. I mean, I guess if he needs help, we wish him well in that regard. But, I mean, how much more does he got on his contract? All these guys under contract. How about Tanaka? He can only go 5 innings?
Yeah.
$155 million is what they pay to bring this guy over here and be the guy? He gives up 2 solo home runs early, and he's out after the 5th.
They got A-Rod for 2 more years for $40 million. I could buy a whole team for that.
I love A-Royd's comments. And here we see this was a Bush League play, too. That play at second base. He should have been, kicked out of this game for that. He tried to take out the shortstop, Gregorius did, on that play, sliding after the bag.
Yeah.
Completely looking to put himself in harm's way. I mean, you got to try to break up the double play. We get that, but he lined up his steps, made a conscious decision to try to take that guy out. Bush League play completely from the Yankees, who could not get to a guy pitching for Houston with the name Dallas. Keuchel, 3 games this year he went against the Yankees as 3 scoreless outings. 22 innings he pitched scoreless against the Yankees this year. 3 days rest, first time in his career. Another one of these young guns is what we see in the bigs this year, these last few years, really. These teams led by the young players. And he's one of the guys for the Astros who are ahead of schedule with what they were trying to get done. They surprised everybody. They held on, almost blew that playoff berth, but they did come up big over the final weekend, and they got in, and they made the most of it, getting the win up here in the house that A-Royd built. Quiet, mostly Yankee Stadium until they actually started booing.
Yeah.
Their beloved Gardner, I couldn't believe it. Yankee fans love Gardy.
Yeah.
Joe Girardi loves Gardy.
Yeah.
He must have been tears in his eyes when he heard the boos raining down on his head.
He had no explanation for after the game.
Who's that?
Girardi.
Girardi? I mean, Girardi, I love Alex Rodriguez's comments after the game. Girardi, his comments, well, it really, it just stinks to lose, I tell you. I mean, give me something more than that, Joe. Give me a little bit something more than that. This is going to stick with us a little bit for a long, long time. It's a wild card game. It's not like you lost a Game 7 of the ALCS or something. You weren't even in the playoffs, really. I mean, give me a break. It really stinks. And A-Rod, A-Rod, who's calling, Dallas Keuchel, he's Greg Maddux out there.
Right.
You got to tip your hat to these guys. They played tremendous. They're the best. They well executed everything. How about you couldn't come up with a big play? It's first pitch swinging.
Yeah.
Come on. Unbelievable. All right, so we can put the Yankees. Hey, well, I told you guys all season long, mediocre at best.
Yeah.
The American League was down. The only reason they were in at an 87-75 record was because of that. All the other teams were below 500. Only like 2 or 3 teams, fighting for that wild card were actually above 500. And there we see our boy, former Red Sox Jacoby Ellsbury, on the bench looking on. I wonder when I can get to the bank and cash that check.
Yeah.
Because this season's over. Nice job by him. So this is actually a trend, too. And then we saw it last night in the other wild card game. Since they incorporated this one-game wild card since 2002, or 2012, I mean, the home teams are 2-6 in that. How about that? And the Cubbies last night in Pittsburgh took care of business. Another young pitcher going out there getting it done, and he actually got hit later in the game after he beat a couple guys early, and the Pirates went after him because they couldn't get to him with their bats, so they went after him with the pitch. Started a little bench clearing brawl. Only one ejection in that dust up. But the Pirates couldn't get it done. Got to feel bad for the Pirates. 98-64 record.
And then
third straight year in this one-game wild card because they play in the division with the Cardinals, who are the best team in baseball, who get 100 wins every year, and they have to face Jake Arrieta, who in his last 20 starts had the lowest ERA ever in history for a pitcher over his last 20 starts. I believe it was below 1, about .77. He's going to be the Cy Young, I think, although you guys might be facing one of the Cy Youngs with your Mets going up against the Dodgers and their aces. But the Pirates couldn't get it done. They're 1-2 in these one-game playoffs, and they are out quick again in this as the Cubs advance. I still will say that I'm disappointed in the fact that I can't really root for the Cubs because they have the manager that I hate the most in all of probably sports, let alone baseball, the arrogant Joe Madden, fake class guy that he is, leading the way. But he gets the job done, and you have to give him credit for that as this young Cubs team goes 97-65, wins 8 straight to finish the regular season. Unlike those Yankees losing 6 of 7 and your Mets losing 5 of 6, they came in hot, carried it over, and now they get to play the Cardinals, their rival.
Yes.
For the first time ever in the postseason, the Cubs will be playing the Cardinals. How about that? That's kind of interesting as well. Cardinals went 162 on the year. Top 3 teams came out of the NL Central. Those 3 records, 98-64, 97-65, and 162. The top 3 teams in all of baseball came out of that division. One of them's gone. 2 of them are playing each other now as we move on to the division series in both the divisions here. I'll make mention quick before we get to your Mets-Dodgers preview, guys. The Rangers took care of business in Game 1 this afternoon. That game just went final as we were starting the show. David Price does not come up big again. He might be the AL Cy Young, but he has not won a postseason game since 2008, which came against the Red Sox, unfortunately. But he loses again today, 5-3. The Rangers get Game 1 up there in Toronto. He was down 4-0 as I was coming in, so the Jays did rally, pulled it to 5-3, but they could not come up with the full comeback, so they lose Game 1. Royals, Astros pitch tonight, or play tonight. So how about that? Would it be interesting to see Astros versus Rangers in all Texas
that would be a really,
series in the ALCS? That could be interesting. We will not get our Pittsburgh versus Houston series, which we've been looking for since we started this show 5 years ago.
Right.
What the heck? Pittsburgh not doing their job. Astros, maybe. All right, but how about this? You guys want to take the floor, give me some comments. Harvey missing team meetings. Terry Collins testy with the media. Harvey's not going to pitch Game 1. What do you think about the surrounding issues? Your Mets stumbling in, blowing home field advantage, having to go to L.A. for the first 2 to face Greinke and Kershaw in Game 1. What do you guys think?
Well, the one thing I was happy to see was that David Wright was extremely upset about what Harvey did and had a little, let's say, chat with Harvey about that. And my feeling is that is going to kind of blow over. I know the team is not going to be happy about what Harvey did, but I think because David Wright kind of set the tone to let him know, listen, we're in the playoffs. It's about all of us as a team, not one guy. And, as far as his travel arrangements, I think he's going to have to make an adjustment on that, because if you live in New York,
Yeah, there's traffic in New York.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
And in reference to the other thing, the Mets have the type of pitching staff that can deal with the Dodgers. I think game one is key. If you can beat Kershaw and get it into his mind, and Kershaw thinking, this is the playoffs again.
1-5 record in the playoffs history, 5.12 ERA for a 3-time Cy Young Award winner who's lights out during the regular season.
Absolutely.
He's no Madison Bumgarner so far, is what he's proven. More like David Price.
Absolutely.
So if you get to him a little bit early, maybe those demons start raising up and the pressure's too much for him.
And if you're the Mets, I think you want to go out of LA. You want to get a split. Go back to Citi Field. You got
DeGrom in game 1. You got Syndergaard against Greinke in game 2.
Syndergaard's got a very good shot at getting a win in the first game.
Oh, absolutely.
Second
game.
Right. Absolutely. He's been pitching.
But what about the fact that Juan Uribe is out? He's not going to be playing. He was a nice pickup for you guys.
Yeah.
And he's hurt. A big, clutch kind of guy, clubhouse guy as well. And what do we think about Cespedes' hand? Is it okay? He was beamed in that last weekend.
It's questionable.
I mean, he's playing, but is he 100%? That's something to keep your eye on as well. That huge pickup, too. Both those guys, big pickups for them. And Uribe is out for the whole series. He could come back if they advance. But Cespedes is going to play with probably a little bit of a banged-up hand, although they've been off all week, so maybe these 4 days, 5 days of rest. This was the one thing I wasn't too keen on, as they did not really go all out for home field. This playoff series is starting tomorrow, Friday. The regular season ended on Sunday. You were going to have basically 5 days of rest no matter what. So they didn't have to rest guys per se that they did. Some of them were a little banged up. Cespedes got beaten on the hand, so you know that. But they did rest some other guys that didn't necessarily need to be rested while they could have been trying to go for holding on. Remember, they had a 2-game lead on the Dodgers with 7 games to go, basically. And they blew that completely. So I don't know that they finished the way you really want to. They didn't back in like the Yankees, because they wrapped it up early. And they took care of business against the Nationals, who fired their coach after the season ended. But I'm not thrilled with the way the Mets come in with their mojo. Then you add the Harvey thing. There's plenty of Harvey things going on all season long, really. I mean, why does this guy have to have so much drama surrounding him with the pitch counts? His agent making comments, trying to dictate things, what can happen, free agent looming situations later on down the road. So, with him, it's just like, if he didn't have that other drama, maybe this incident with the meeting wouldn't be such a big deal. But I think if you paint the big picture with him, it's a little bit shaky. Of course, if he comes out in Game 3 at Citi Field and goes lights out, all will be forgiven. And we'll have to wait and see what happens, and we'll have to wait and see if they're come back 1-1, 2-0, one way or the other, down or up, and we'll see what happens. And of course, it's worth mentioning the Dodgers, led by their manager, former Yankee, Mr. Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly, who hasn't had quite the success yet in the postseason with his Dodgers, but he is getting them in there. As we mentioned on last week's show, first time ever in Dodgers history, they won the NL West 3 straight years. So that's good that he's getting that done.
And with Donnie Baseball back in New York, it'll be a very interesting.
Oh yeah, always going to be
an interesting
big
game
when he comes back. So it's going to be an interesting series. We of course mentioned it last week as well. 1988,
yes.
The ghosts of Dodgers past, that epic Game 7 series where the Mets could not come up with it, and the Dodgers went on to win the World Series that year. So Met fans can remember that all too well. All right, let's shift gear because we got other stuff to get to. Next week we'll be seeing, talking a lot more about what is actually happening with that Mets-Dodgers series. We'll mention really quick here, NHL did get underway last night.
They did.
And your New York Rangers got a win to start the season against the defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. And it was 3-2 after they raised the banner, but the Rangers got it done. Bruins begin the post-Milan Lucic era tonight with a game against Winnipeg. And then it's worth mentioning that the Islanders begin their new era in Brooklyn tomorrow night against those very same defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks, coming to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, is anyone in the house? Yes, that's what I thought you'd say. All right, let's move on to the NFL.
Maybe we can get a baseball team next year.
Move the Mets to Brooklyn.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, hey. They're Queens bound, Queens up, Brooklyn down. That's what the hip hop guys say. Come on. NFL tonight: Colts versus Texans. Colts lucky to be 2-2. Again, with that expansion division they reside in, they got Houston, an expansion team, Jacksonville, an expansion team. You might as well call the Titans an expansion team since they moved from Houston to Indianapolis. I mean, how did that division get put together? Who authorized that? And the Colts have not lost a game in division in 3 years, as they got lucky last-second overtime wins last week against the Jags, against the Titans the week before. They get the Texans tonight. Will the Texans, who are 1-3, beat them and end this streak, which is ridiculous? Andrew Luck out again. The 40-year-old Hasselbeck playing as he gets out of the hospital. He was in the hospital dealing with a serious virus after that win against the Jaguars last week. I think the Texans will get the win tonight. I would like to see that. I would like to see their defense come up large, because I've been holding on to the Texans defense on my fantasy team, and they're getting
how is your fantasy team doing?
I got a win last week, finally, in the money league to go to 1-3. I spotted the league. They're on warning. Here, officially, I'll say it here on live television. I spotted you guys 3 weeks. Uh-oh, the Mets helmet just fell off. That's not good. I spotted you guys 3 weeks. I'm coming for you. My team is shaping up. You'll be lucky if I don't make the playoffs again this year. I'm not going down without a fight. This is ridiculous. 0-3 start. But I came up big last week, and I got things shaping up. I'm ready for them. So we're going. And Houston's defense is going to come up large against the no offensive line of Indianapolis tonight. All right, so what happened, though, this past weekend, and what else is going on?
Let's see. My Giants went 2-2.
Giants moved to the head of the division, NFC East. I was going to stay in the AFC, but we'll jump ship. We'll go right to the Giants. The G-Men with a 24-10 win over the Bills.
Sexy Rexy's.
Of course, Sexy Rexy in his delusional ways says, I think my 17 penalized Buffalo Bills played really good, and I'm proud of them anyways, even though they looked like a Pop Warner team when Rashard Jennings broke about 10 tackles on a simple screenplay, and he runs down the sideline to clinch it, put the game out of reach with that touchdown to put them up 24-10. I mean, come on, what kind of Pop Warner defense is Rex Ryan running up there in Buffalo? Make the tackle. Unreal. And the 17 penalties. And how about this? League-wide, this is kind of a problem. Have you guys noticed how many penalties referees are thrown all over the place? Every play, it seems like there's no flow, no rhythm to these games. I'd like to see the refs get it right and maybe put the whistle away some and let the guys play. So your Giants, Bob, 2-2, tied with the Redskins. How about that? Hail the Chiefs. Redskins 2-2. They come back after blowing a lead against the Eagles. This is the same script the Eagles had in Week 1 against the Falcons. Do nothing in the first half, then go all out in the second half, take the lead, only to blow it in the waning moments. And the Redskins get the comeback, come from ahead, comeback victory. And they are 2-2 with you guys, tied atop the division. The Cowboys, who the Patriots will be playing this weekend in the night's 4:30 time slot, love it. They lost in overtime to the Saints. Right there, we see it. 80-yard run by C.J. Spiller on a screenplay. Another Pop Warner play right there as the Cowboys go down, and they are struggling without Romo and without Dez Bryant.
They can stay home for a couple more weeks.
I will guarantee. I don't like to do many guarantees on this show, But I did tell you last week the Patriots don't care about you. They don't care about your mama. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your grandchildren. And they do not care about, how about them Cowboys? They do not care about them at all and their injuries. They will put a big smackdown on them to move them to 2-3. So your Giants can probably do well to move ahead in the division there. Jets got to win in London.
Yeah, we'll go all the way overseas.
Hey, it was
9:30
9:30 in the morning. Woke up, drank some coffee, watched a little football. The Dolphins stunk so bad that they left their coach behind in London, fired him after the game, said, "Get your own flight back to Miami, because you're done, Joe Philbin. Out." 27-14. Jets took care of business, no problem. Jets are home against those Redskins this weekend, and then at New England after that. Actually, I'm sorry, the Jets have a bye week. Then they come back home against Washington, and then at New England the following week. That's going to be an interesting game. You know, I said the Jets might be a little bit better than people expected this year. I do like their coach. I like the new guy. I think he's doing a good job. Defensively, they're solid. They got a good running attack. Brandon Marshall, if he's healthy, is a prime-time player, big-time playmaker, and so far he is healthy. We'll have to keep track of that. Decker can be a good number 2 receiver if there's a number 1 guy there. All right, so what else is going on? What else happened? Some big games this weekend. Seattle at Cincinnati. Cincinnati remains unbeaten. Seattle catches a break with the goal line, a fumble against Detroit, who remains winless, the only winless team, 0-4. The Lions are, and the refs completely blew that. Reminiscent of the Fail Mary play in the end zone against the Packers years ago with the scab refs, as Mike gets hung up on the Cincinnati Bengals cheerleaders.
Well, I would too.
The crew has been a little disappointed in my lack of cheerleader photos recently.
Well, hopefully one show will do a whole show on just the cheerleaders.
So I had to bring in a few cheerleaders, and Mike is finding them quickly. No problem there. Tampa's team not looking so good. Cheerleaders, they're looking okay. Rams at Packers. Rams with a big upset, knocked the Cardinals from the undefeated ranks. They'll head to the Packers, who are still undefeated. Bears at Kansas City, 2 1-3 teams looking to get something done. Saints at Philly, that's a division game that you need to keep your eye on there for your Giants. Denver at Oakland. Denver remains undefeated. Not that impressively, though. Oakland really blew it. I thought they should have moved to 3-1, losing at the Bears this weekend. That wasn't good.
The Bears.
Monday night game was Pittsburgh at San Diego. College, just quick mention, Bama routed Georgia just when you think they're dead. Florida knocked off Ole Miss in a big, huge rout as well. And Ole Miss drops out of the top 3. Tough break for them as they beat Bama the week before and then get Florida the following week. Tough schedule there. I will mention this. Clemson held on to beat Notre Dame 24-22. I know we're running out of time. When was the last time Notre Dame ever played in Clemson? I talked to my daddy. I got this tidbit for you. 1977.
Really?
And they won it on the final play led by who? Joe Montana. 7 seconds left. Scores the game winner. That was the last time. So I did have that little tidbit about Clemson, where my niece goes to school. So we're going to be paying attention to Clemson. We are out of here. I ran out of time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. We'll be back next week and see if these guys are on a ledge about the Mets or if they're happy, looking forward to a championship series perhaps. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.